Micro, small and medium enterprises are the engines of economic growth in Africa. In fact, they are an effective pathway for empowering women who grow 70% of the food and invest 90% of their earnings in communities. It is also the African continent that has some of the highest percentage of female entrepreneurs in the world. But worldwide, women's access to finance is disproportionately low. According to Shared Interest, small businesses, and particularly those owned and run by black women, continue to struggle to attain funding.
Women entrepreneurs are the farthest from economic opportunities. For one, simply because they are women. Women have been far from economic opportunities because of social, cultural, legal issues, which many of them are historic. But the consequences today, such as economic inequality, lack of skills, lack of access to training, lack of networks, are felt by these entrepreneurial women even today. Well, on behalf of entrepreneurial women is that, like I said before, current global risks such as the pandemic and climate change are making these historical issues worse.
Onyango says the historical challenge has been the fact that women often lack traditional collateral and guarantees when seeking financial assistance.
That is a repeated issue that specifically affects women negatively more than anybody else. But there's also, now we know we are in a digital economy, and many women entrepreneurs say they lack technology and they lack digital skills to be effective in this increasingly digital economy, which has been accelerated by the pandemic.
Fiona Matebula is a professional nurse who went into entrepreneurship in 2015 by opening up her own wellness practice. During the lockdown period, she revisited her hobby of crafting and making handmade soaps as well as hand crocheting. This meant that she'll need financial assistance to buy equipment and stock to run the businesses.
The equipment at the time that I was sourcing was about 300,000 rand, and I only had 17,000 rand to my name. So it was quite hard. More like a dream far-fetched, because when I did my research and I tried to see if I could get funding, the first thing that I came across on the minimum requirements was your history, the time you've been in business, time period which you've been in business. And some would ask for 12 months, some would ask for 3 years to 5 years. You need to submit your financials. And in the meantime, you are just getting started. You do not have the pockets for all of that. You cannot even afford the services of an accountant to begin with, or even a bookkeeper. So it was quite a challenge right from the beginning. But I was fortunate enough to have someone, a business that believed in me, and they were willing to give me my equipment to get started and pay it off without any interest.
It was with this assistance that the business would expand, meaning more equipment was now needed, which was another challenge.
Sourcing that as an asset, the mobile clinic and a second set of equipment, was a challenge because I could not afford it. And so I tried for business funding all at the same time, business funding, personal loan, to see if I could get anything. And your turnover, for example, you are expected to have minimum 100,000 a month, or at least your annual turnover must be between 500,000 to 1 million. And for a startup, that on its own is a dream far-fetched.
Shared Interest says these barriers raise questions about innovative funding mechanisms, but encourages women to continue pushing their passion and contributing to the economy.
First of all, keep your focus on solving problems as you are. Women are providing solutions at the community level because they understand best. They must continue to do this. You have a market where you understand your consumers, and women do that. One of the other things I would urge them to do, we are seeing that a lot of organizations we work with at Shared Interest as our lending partners are leveraging technology and fintech to reach women. When the opportunity is presented to women, I would encourage them. If you have an opportunity to gain digital and technology skills, please do. But I do see that women already, through their phones, for example, they do wherever they can. So I would encourage them to maintain their resilience.
Matebula says not even the lack of support could stand in between her and her dream.
In the 8 years that we have been with Mintiro, so far, 17,000 Rand took me to where we are now. And for Lamakama, I am hoping and praying that I will be able to create employment and grow bigger and perhaps even own a store. I do have an online store, but even with that, you do have to sort of market your way into the environment because it's quite competitive. But for me, coming from a not so formal background in business, I pride myself in how far I have come.
Diabo Seto, SABC News, Johannesburg.